This week on Taste Utah, we're all about the greens, microgreens, that is. We couldn't help but notice when visiting fan favorite Solagave, every plate was peppered with the perfect amount of microgreens. And when they moved to their new location in American Fork and opened Del Mar in the old Solagave space, we discovered even more microgreens top these delicious dishes. In true Taste Utah fashion, we dug a little deeper and found Mico's Micro Farm, an urban farm located in the basement of a Lehi home, supplying restaurants and chefs with these nutrient-dense pops of flavor. What began as a project to teach his son where our food comes from has developed into a full-time farming operation for founder Ricardo and his business partner Darren. Our palates couldn't be more grateful that it has. Taste Utah is always bringing you local flavors from seeds to our authentically Utah restaurants. Behind every good food story is a great people story. It's our farmers, artisans, chefs, restaurateurs, and hospitality professionals that make Utah a dining destination. Food is a necessity, and it's how we cultivate it, share it, and experience it together that truly creates our unique community. You always have a seat at this table. Are you ready to taste Utah? Edgar Jesus, this is unbelievable.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for visiting it.
People of Utah County and just Utah in particular have been blowing up our Instagram, blowing up our emails saying you have to feature Solagave, you have to feature Solagave. Wow. Let's start with the food because I want to dive in, and this looks absolutely, I'm not going to be able to not touch it. It looks amazing.
Well, I'll start with what's sitting right in front of you.
Okay.
It's our shrimp taquitos. So what makes that special, it's a butterfly wild Mexican prawn. It's stuffed with Dungeness crab filling, epazote filling, and cream cheese.
What?
We then roll it on a mini corn tortilla, fast fry it, and chef tops it off with some lettuce, cabbage, pico de gallo, queso fresco, and you have to try it.
In here we have the raca lamb.
Okay.
We do our mole in-house.
Okay.
It's from our family back in Mexico City. Has a little bit of the kick in the back, has a lot of flavor though.
I mean, it's sophisticated and elegant.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then we also have our chorizo mashed potato, where we do some chorizo, the queso fresco in it, queso manchego.
Yum.
It has a lot of flavor. That chorizo is made in-house as well.
Everything is made by hand.
From scratch. So we have our roasted veggies here, which is a zucchini, and our Mexican squash as well, and some carrots and bell peppers, tomatoes in it.
It's so elegant and sophisticated. It's simple ingredients, given love and life by a chef, by somebody who loves and cares about the food. And then what do you have in front of you?
This is the Mari Tierra. Ooh. And what makes it special is obviously we're talking about filet mignon.
Yeah.
This is also filet mignon inside with I love cheese, so it has jack cheese in it. A little bit of grilled onions, and chef blends it with some nice Chardonnay. It just explodes in your mouth. Yeah. And can have you finish it off again, your Veracruz white rice and your wild Mexican prawns.
So you're bringing in these prawns from the Baja region of Mexico?
Yeah, it's a white wild Mexican shrimp.
Okay, then what's this?
So we have the sugarcane filet mignon.
Okay.
It's 2 ounces each of your center cut filet mignon.
Okay.
And it's served on a bed of Veracruz white rice.
Ooh. Finish with some microgreens?
Yes, microgreens on top.
We call it the love.
We call it the love. I love, yeah.
Finish with the love, but love is infused in every step of the process, which is awesome.
Absolutely. So Solagave started in 2014 inside a 14-foot gourmet food truck.
Food truck, okay.
So started with the vision, with the passion, a desire of changing the way the guests perceive Mexican food to be. If you think Mexican food, some people think it's tacos, burritos, greasy, not too good for you, right? So what we try to do is break that barrier and let the guests know that Mexico has so much to offer. Every time that we create or that we think of a new dish, it could be as modern, it could be as sexy looking as you like. Yeah. But when you taste it, if it's not authentic, if it doesn't remind you of your grandma's cooking, then we have failed. And we wanted to bring that to Utah and share it with the beautiful people here.
I'm lucky. My sister-in-law has Mexican heritage. Her mom's from Mexico, and so I never really tasted true, authentic Mexican food until she made dinner for us one night. And
You're
I was
like, what is this?
What is this? This is so good.
Right.
So what you're trying to do is bring that experience to Utah. So hey, you don't have an abuelita? That's okay. Yeah. We have ours, and we will show you what we experienced growing up, which is super special.
And that's the whole mission, right? The whole mission is to bring to people from Utah to get to know our authentic Mexican cuisine.
I can tell that you love what you do, and that you truly want to create an experience for people to taste Mexico with their palate, but also with their heart and soul. Yeah. Man, that's exactly what's happening here.
Gracias.
Absolutely. Gracias.
We're in Lehi, and we're in what looks like an unassuming neighborhood, but I'm taking you to Mico's microgreens, where Ricardo and Darren are growing all kinds of different varieties of the most delicious and fresh microgreens for all over Utah. We're gonna see how these things grow.
Hey, welcome.
Hi.
Come on in.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
We're super excited.
You know,
Seriously.
This is urban farming, right?
Totally.
You pull up to a neighborhood and then you're like, wait, there's a farm here?
Come on in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check it out.
Okay. Why did you decide, you know, what we want to do is specialize in this particular area of farming?
I have a little boy named Mico.
Okay.
He came up to me and he said, hey, I want to do a little bit of farming. I want to learn something. Him being at that age 4, I wanted to find something that would keep his attention in a short amount of time frame to be able to show him the different steps. Went up to a local seed supplier here in the valley. That was another reason why we decided to do that. And kind of took him as an experience with him and went and got seeds, all that stuff. And it just, one idea I kept putting in front of another that it just, you know, now we're here.
We've always had like an interest in doing something together.
Yeah. Sure.
And then when Ricardo was like, hey, you have to check out the microgreen business and approached me, I'm like, okay, I'm all in.
That's so awesome. And then how
fun.
did you start sourcing to restaurants? Because I heard about you from Solagave and Del Mar because I was at Del Mar with Jorge, who's one of the owners, and basically was really impressed with all of the microgreens that they have on almost every dish. And he was like, oh, well, you got to talk to Ricardo. He's our man.
I've been part of that company with them for a while prior and create the relationship with them. Amazingly helped them do the transition from they were in the small location to now their big one, and have just created an amazing relationship. So a huge shout out to Solagave, to George, to Marisol, to both of the chefs that do an incredible job out there. I mean, they've been a huge supporter in what we do.
Oh, they're huge.
How many microgreens are you growing right now, and what are their varieties?
So right now we probably have about 7 to 8 varieties, and we do anything from carrot to a salad mix, cabbage, some beets, some wheatgrass.
Cool, that is so
cool.
wonderful. And Darren, tell us about the mission. Like, what is the mission?
Really, I mean, the big thing for us is not only trying to get more fresh produce to our, you know, local shops, you know, the restaurants, Solagave and, you know, the Del Mars, but you know, to also educate a lot of the consumers, just the people that sometimes will sweep off the microgreens off their plate, but they're so nutritional for you.
That's sort of, you know, why we're here today too, to really dig into what it is you're doing. So you're not growing in actual soil, which most seedlings don't start in the earth, they start in little teeny pots.
Correct.
And that's what we've got here. So what do we have in front of us?
It's soil. It's a sun mix that we use with micro-ice in it.
Okay.
It has peelite in it, so there's a lot of draining, and
Great.
it's packed for nutritionals for the time frame that we're growing these for. It's anywhere from 7 to 10 days from seed to end point.
Basically this container that when you lift it up, there's some...
So that's the drain there.
Right.
So that's where we do a lot of our bottom feeding too.
Yes.
Which is totally
once
important.
the roots start to grow, they're going to take on whatever is happening down there.
100%.
Okay, so we start by packing. We start by color coding. Color coding means
everything's color
this
coded.
is a particular
Correct.
seed that you're growing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Produce.
Yep. So purple will do our cabbage.
Cabbage. Okay.
Yep.
And is
And
that the
so
seed
this
you
is
got?
the seed for the
Okay,
cabbage.
Cool.
We have our water right there. We'll mist it down.
Yeah. Do you want me to hand it to you?
Yep.
You got it.
That mist.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Of course. So we've got a little.
So we've got a little indoor hose, which probably most people don't see in their basement.
Right.
I'll try not to get you.
No, you're fine. If you do, it's just part of the fun.
It's part of the experience.
Exactly right. You want to make
Okay,
sure that
perfect.
it's nice and damp.
Thank you.
Of course. Then we'll just hang that back up.
And then we'll just go through, do the seeding. So we like to measure that out.
Okay.
Just prior to, try to stay super consistent with the different variants.
So you know that what's in that shaker is enough for one
100%.
one tray.
So we'll go through, do that, and then we'll do another watering, and then we'll jump through, grab our other variants, and then seed the remaining as well.
All right. And then
All right.
we'll cover them. It's also to prevent when you stack them to not lift up the seeds,
Nice.
But not only that, it also helps with the humidity.
The humidity and then a darkness as
Correct,
well. So,
absolutely.
yeah,
And then we'll go ahead and stack all these together,
okay.
and they will go into our germination rack in
Okay.
this other room.
Let's go check them out.
Let's go
Cool.
do it.
All right, Darren, Ricardo, so we basically just brought this bad boy in, which we just made out there.
Absolutely.
And so basically you let this sit for how long?
Anywhere from 3 to 5 days
Okay,
in
so
that
then
time frame.
we put this down under there where it
Correct.
will sit with others. And then next step in the process is da 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 da.
That's correct.
So exciting. This
take
is
these-
the dome.
We'll take these
Okay.
domes off, and all of these are going to be ready to be put under lights. You can take that one
Oh,
off
I get
as
to
well.
reveal too? Ah.
All of these are going to be, because they're in our purple,
Yes.
we know they're a cabbage. Because
Okay.
we're growing them very consistently, it'd take a lot of time to be right in them. We just
Okay.
went with the color coordination. So
Perfect.
we dome them probably anywhere from 6 to 12 hours before we put them under the light
Okay.
to give them that extra sprout. Because right now, as you can see, some of them are still kind of smashed down from when they were
In there, okay.
here. When you give them the dome, they spread out, and then we look into at what they look like. This right here is only a day after this process right here, and this one right here, this is probably ready to be harvested today. So
Cool,
this will
so
be
we'll,
ready.
we'll be harvesting
We'll be
that
harvesting
shortly.
this here today as
Cool.
well. And this is our second farm. Where this all started was at my house with Mico, and over
Okay.
there we have 4 racks.
Okay.
We have 4 racks, so in total we're getting close to being over like 19, 20
So
on that.
you're doing
Yeah.
this exact same process at your house.
That's correct.
And if
Here.
like a restaurant chef wanted you to grow something specific for them, would you do that, or do you only
Absolutely.
do? Okay.
No, we're actually in works with now with certain restaurants that have reached out that they know that they can count on us, and yeah, they're giving us different ideas of things that they want, and we've
Yeah.
given them a couple ideas, and we have a lot of restaurants that are asking for more specific things that they want to see
That's
on their
cool.
table. So yes, we're gonna be doing that a lot.
In like the past 2 or 3 decades, the idea of a garnish has gone away. So you think, when I was growing up, you would get like the orange wedge and then the curly parsley. And you would, as a kid, I would think like, do I eat this? Do I not eat this? Like, what does this have to do with like eggs and hash browns?
Right.
Totally.
And it wasn't really meant to be consumed. It didn't actually add anything additional to the dish. And now these extra little pops of nutrition are also pops of flavor, and for most microgreens, pops of texture, because they're
Right.
so fresh that there's that crunch and crisp that really then also adds a moisture component. So it's like
totally.
all of these little dynamic
Huge.
ways that a chef can, you think about the way that a chef will sprinkle maybe just 10 or 12 flakes of Maldon sea salt over the dish to open
Open
your,
up
your
your palate and
palate
everything,
so
of
that you
course.
can taste flavors a little bit more extensively, or that little squeeze of lemon or lime that's just that punch of acid that you need to brighten up a dish.
Right.
And now with these, it's becoming like the salt and pepper of dining.
No, it totally
It's-
100% amplifies the dish. We've seen it in chefs tell us day in, day out, not only flavor, taste, but also visual of it. It's just,
and especially the amaranth, like what a cool addition.
oh my God, and the color of it, it's
Well,
phenomenal.
we were at Solagave the other day, and it was just fun to see our own products on the tables and just the overall like taste, flavor, and the overall look.
Yeah.
Like it was fun. Some of our kids were looking at it and they just got excited. They're like, oh my gosh, this is so good.
Totally. And are you passionate about food, both of you, or is this just something you kind of fell into?
I've always
100%.
loved food, yeah. I've always liked food.
Honest.
Yeah, and when you really love food and you really love what you do, it's this beautiful synergistic connection where not only are you taking pride in what you're offering to the world, but you also get to enjoy it as well, which is really nice, right?
No, we were actually walking out that restaurant when we went, and we looked over to the dining room, and they were full. And we looked over and said, man, can you imagine there's microgreens on every one of the dishes that we produce? And it was a very special moment for us to kind of connect that, and you know, it's like, it's real.
Yeah, your contribution is so important.
Right.
It's a cool experience.
Like speaking of tasting, right? We should all give like,
this
a bouquet. If just for me, I was like, we're all gonna sample. We have to, right?
Yes, absolutely. It doesn't get any fresher than this. As you can tell, this is cabbage. I mean, just the crispness, the taste of it.
I mean, cabbage has almost like a borderline bitter, sort of astringent flavor. And it's so potent in just this little
just that little amount of thing. The broccoli, that's Mico's favorite, and the peas as well. I mean, he will come down to where it's being grown at, grab some scissors and it's, what parent does not want to see a kid just, you know, pounding things like that is so high in nutrition. So it's a complete win-win for us in every aspect of it, you know, not only to the actual dinner table that the chefs are using, but what it's done to our family personally, you know, I mean, Darren's family, my family as well, so.
And light up when you know where your food comes from. You know the efforts that it took to get there and to grow that. I mean, it's really, really just an extraordinary gift that you're offering.
The moment we felt the change of the, you know, coming fall, it did take an extra day. You know, it was kind of crazy, something you don't really think about, but all these things are living things that they feel it. It took them an extra day to get adjusted. So.
Well, they're still like climatized to nature, and
Correct.
as are we all. But growing, living things just tend to be far more in tune with that, as opposed to all of the distractions that sometimes 100%. We have. I feel like the next thing we should do that would be really fun for me is to do some harvesting.
Yeah, absolutely. We could not do any of this that we do without our other halves that actually do a lot of work as well.
Yeah.
Anything from our containers that you'll be able to see right now to help us out a lot with the harvesting as well.
And your other halves, you're referring to
our wives.
Your wives. Wives are just as important. Absolutely, they are. They're
keep us on track.
Intricately infused into everything that you're doing here.
Absolutely. No, for sure. So I'll grab a couple of these and we'll go over and harvest for it.
Let's do it.
Great. So we have a couple of different options for you.
Okay.
So we have our basic mix, right?
Okay, this is just our salad greens.
Just our salad mix, yep. And then we have our cabbage.
Lovely.
And then we have our amaranth. My daughter calls it the flamingos.
Oh, that's so clever. I love that. Oh my gosh, it is. It's like the flamingos.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so where do we start?
Okay, so first throw on your glove.
Oh, me? I'm doing it? Okay, cool. Put me to work.
Put you to work.
Good. I like that.
So you just kind of follow along here. So you can grab the top here.
Okay.
And then just cut through, and it's a sharp knife.
Okay.
So be careful not to cut your finger.
And you're grabbing the very top.
So the very top.
Okay.
And you're just going to use the base here to follow along.
Okay.
Yep.
And then just kind of set them in there like that?
Yep. And then we just do a quick visual. Make sure you're not cutting the roots or roots aren't coming up with you.
Just.
Yep. Great.
Perfect.
Got it down.
Oh, do I? Okay, good. And then just keep going?
Just keep going.
Okay.
So once we finish harvesting, we get them ready for our restaurants.
Okay.
And you know, this is kind of the end product for some of the restaurants. These are some of the restaurants that we're working with.
This is awesome.
And we go into what is our reusable containers. You know, this is something that was a huge mission for Micos Micro. So this was an idea that not only chefs absolutely love, but it's awesome to be able to do our part in not only the restaurant business, but now also in home delivery. So now people at homes can be able to order our microgreens. We'll slap over their last names and we'll do the reusable containers with them as well.
Nice. And will it be kind of like a CSA style where you'll drop it off and then pick it up?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
We'll do either depending on what the need is for that home. If it's once a week, twice a week, or once a month, we would get all that together for them to be able to do that.
What's really cool, especially with this reusable component and being sustainable, is that this is equipment that most restaurants are already familiar with. It's already helpful for them to have in the back of their restaurants, which is so wonderful. So the idea is you drop off their microgreens for the week or every couple days or whatever the capacity is that the restaurant needs, and then when you drop off the next order, you pick up the containers. It's so cool. It's such a unique offering that you are truly sharing with the people of Utah, because we're who actually benefits. I mean, the chefs get to be creative and they love it too, but really chefs do what they do to help us have great experiences, to nourish and nurture us. And so ultimately we are the ones that get to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So number one, thank you for what you're doing and for executing at such a high level and such a high quality, and saying we're gonna go all in, but we're going all in because we care about our community. We want people to be able to feel good about what they're eating, eat things that make them feel good, and we truly want to help sustain the industry.
I think one thing that's a misconception is microgreens are only used by chefs. You know, microgreens are not only used by chefs; they're used at your everyday home. And something like making a quick little caprese salad and adding a little bit of microgreens. I mean, not only are you amplifying how it looks,
that is so cute.
But you're getting an extremely nutritional added value just how it looks.
I'm so grateful that you came on our radar so that we could talk to you, we could show you off, and let people know how to interact with you, and the curiosity of a 4-year-old to know where the food comes from, and then finding a buddy who you always knew you wanted to do something special with. This is it, you guys. This is absolutely it. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Darren.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.